Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Shalom, Rebelli. I want to thank you for the upsharing on Friday. I really appreciate it. My earliest memory is from my own upsharing, and I'm sure my son will remember his too. People ask why I wanted to bring my son to MDY for his upshare. For the past 2.5 years, almost every single day at 7:15 in the morning, my children would find me sitting by the table with the computer watching the shir. I would try to always have it on speaker so my children can hear it too. Baruch Hashem, the daf has become not only a part of my life, but also a part of my family's life. I work, but if you would ask my children what I do, they would answer that I learn Torah, because that is what they see every morning. I remember the first time I heard my children jumping out of their bed, screaming, "It's Kishmak to learn the daf." Every morning when the show would start on Zoom, as you would say, "Good morning, Rabbi Isai," my 1-year-old daughter says, when my children think of Torah. By the way, today is going to be a record of Good Morning, Rabbi Isais from all over the world. As many guests as we had last night, that's how many Good Morning Rabbi Isais. Actually, we have a lot of guests this morning. Shalom Aleichem, what's your name? Zwecker? Zisha, and you here with your brothers? Yeah. And you? Really? Shalom Aleichem. Where are you from? Woodmere. So you slept them around. Yeah, the 3 grandchildren. Givaldic. They live what? They live in Bet? Where do you live? You let your kids live in Bet? It's the whole, every time people ask me when I go to America, where do you live? I say, what, over there? No, it's different. Where you live in Aleph? Okay, fine, it's okay. Huh? You used to live in Aleph. Yeah, the seats over here, a boy's side, there's a lot of stuff going on here. So over here, this whole table. Okay, when am I there? How can I do option anywhere else? Rabbi said he has charata that the kid didn't say nothing. The Bocher ha-Upshar in himself didn't say Good morning Rabbi Isai. Here's the video of him saying it. He says it all the time, but not under pressure. Here you go. It looks a little different, no? At least they got the part right. Mordechai holds, so he says that yesterday I had a shaila. Well, he's not even talking about the shaila. He was just saying, I brought it up yesterday. Do you say, Avi wrote the Lashon, Melitz, his mother-in-law, zchus and should be a Melitz Yosher. I thought it's not proper to say Melitz Yosher. I said it's Melitza Yishara. He says, well, we say in the text of the funeral, you say, Hey, Melitzas Yosher. So it's nishtahin, it's both. It's I got the Melitzas right, but not the Yosher. Okay. She should be a Melitza Yosher to all Klal Yisrael. By the way, Stam, the Rav Gifter used to say that the Yeshiva Bachram used to say, I'm a Haaretz in 2 languages, Yiddish and English. I'm a Haaretz in 3 languages. So you can't have any shaylas. Melitza, I'm not good at the dikduk. Beautiful picture. Where's your Menachem? I forgot. What's your shir's name again? Dr. He came over to me yesterday. He says, look what we gave up. We came from South Africa. I'm so bad with names. Came from South Africa. Look what we gave up. And here, Taka, you see this guy, picture from South Africa. Thank you for coming to South Africa and having zchus to Yeshir in person. I joined Yeshir after the Meaningful People podcast. Started with the plan to do Chazar and Sukkah, but I've been doing the daf ever since. The biggest chizuk you have given me is that it's not about the daf, it's about the Yomi. Even on vacation, one needs to make time to learn. This picture is taken in the Drakensberg Mountains, truly experiencing the beauty of Hashem's world with the beauty of His Torah. May Hashem continue to bless you and your family and all endeavors. You bring Klal Yisrael, Glenn Black, Masechta Sukkah, Johannesburg, South Africa, over a year with the shir. Look how beautiful it is in the background. Unbelievable. My name is Motty Spiegel. This is Givaldic. Motty Spiegel did a great job. I wanted to do something similar when I was in Africa, but he outdid me. I have some great videos for you from Panama. Thank you, Motty Spiegel. Here we go. Bye, babe.
Good morning, Rabbi Isai.
Están disfrutando. Yeah. Okay. Good morning, Rabbi Isai.
Okay, you got it. And this is mine, of course, but this I showed the first day back. I don't think a lot of you saw it, so we'll have to do chazor to share on this one. It's a good niggin.
Yeah.
And of course, the guy that comes at the end, Mushtatev. I love that guy.
morning,
Okay. And I took this picture myself. The MS, look at those eyes staring right at me. The flies. I also took this picture. This is a zebra that almost got killed by a lion. You could see 2 of the lion's claws went right through his body. Those are mamish knives that he has at the end. All right, the koilel is sponsored anonymously for all the new people that joined, including Rabbi Schoenberg's son, who Hashem is going to join us even after Ben Azmanim. The second sponsor of the Chodesh is Avrum Epstein in memory of Rachel's mother, Reza Gittel Bas Esther, Rita, Shabi, Amalitza, Yosef, on behalf of us and all our children. The partners of the Masechta, Lila Nishmas Yosef Baruch ben Moshe Aaron, and Lila Nishmas Moshe Losa ben Nata Shalom, for hatzlacha for my children. The second Masechta sponsor is Jeff Rosner and zchus my son Yosef Simcha Chaim ben Sara Chana, Refuah Shlaima. Amen. And Paras HaChodesh by the Lock and Lebovic families, Lakewood NJ, because Torah is the best. Segula, Paras HaChodesh number 2, Zechariah ben Moshe. Paras HaChodesh number 3, Benjy Estie Israel. Don't worry, there's no Paras HaYom today, so you can relax. Benjy Estie Israel Family in the memory of our Zayde Moshe Menora and 3 cousins. Sara Klein, Ricki Racheli Menora, the 12th yard side. If you're new, Moshe Menora had a plane in Chicago, and he took his kids on a little trip during the 9 days, and the plane didn't take off well. Like it tried to take off, and it crashed on takeoff, and 3 grandchildren were killed together with him. The neshama should have an aliyah. Dr. Avrum Epstein, in memory of my precious Southern belle, wife, mother, and grandmother, Rita Gay Epstein, and Panas HaChodesh number 5, Michael Bamela, Motty Perl, and I didn't read it well until I read the what is it called? The Or HaMerkaz. And then I realized that all 3 of them are sponsoring. I thought it's Michael Bamela was sponsoring for Aaron Hirsch, but it's all 3. Michael Bamela, Motty Perl, and Aaron Hirsch. To be zchus to make it to Uman Rosh this year. Rabbi Sai, here we go. After Shir last night, I got home maybe 11:30ish, and I didn't look at the sugi yet. And today we have, 15, 16 charts. Very, very easy sugya. I did look at the sugya. I shouldn't say I didn't. I looked at it during Shabbos, very briefly, I guess. This is be'emes easy sugya. It's drushes and, but simple things. We go from thing to thing. You don't have to hold cup. So we're holding on Daf Memvav Amud Aleph, Toner Rabbana. 2, 4, 6, 8 lines down.
Really need the sugya or like yesterday?
Yeah, what time did you go to sleep?
Sleep.
You didn't go to sleep? What time did the shir come out? Let's say, when did you send the shir out? It still didn't come out? 3:30. Wow, unbelievable. All right, Torah Rabbanon. Who?
Putting Perusian to make it easier.
Put it?
Getting Perusian.
Oh.
Make it easier.
It wasn't that hard. Because, I put you to sleep because I said it's easy, so okay, whatever. Torah Rabbanon, v'anshu oisai. So we're talking about a Moitzi Shemra, somebody that tells his wife that she was Mizana, he has Eidim. V'anshu oisai, we find out that he's a liar, he's a Moitzi Shemra. Anshu oisai, 2 things he gets, 2 penalties. First of all, he has to pay a big knas and also malchus. V'anshu oisai, zeh mamayin. V'yisru, in another pasuk, zeh malchus. Bishleim of anshu zeh mamayin. How do I know v'anshu means money? It doesn't get any simpler. Look at the pasuk. Here it is, chart 1. Not that we need a pasuk, but this is the haitzi ki haitzi shemra. V'anshu oisai. It says mea kesef. You have to give money. So it's not even a shayla. You have to give money to who? To the father. So v'anshu is a monetary oynish. Ela v'yisru is a malchus min alon. And how do we know v'yisru? So I told you yesterday, all the way at the end of the shir, we had Rebavo. Very interesting. I think it's interesting because typically you don't see this in Shas. Usually it's one word to another word. And Rebavo yesterday did the same thing. Today it's even more. On Rebavo, lamadnu yisru mi yisru. Here's the chart. It says yisru by Moitzi Shemra. And we learn Moitzi Shemra from the same word by Ben Soyer Meyer. And it says the word Ben by Ben Soyer Meyer. And it also says the word Ben or Bin by Malchus. So it's a four-step limud. Yisru mi Yisru, v'Yisru mi Ben, Uben mibin, which means ben. If a person is a ben hakois rasha, if he's a product or he's liable, he's a son of Malchus. In other words, he deserves Malchus. Vayim bin hakois rasha. Great. So that's one limud. Next sugya. Hazar l'moisi shemra menolon. But anytime in Onshim Elohim came Hazirin, there's a hatzlacha that you don't get a penalty unless the Torah warns you. Where's the warning? Rebbe Elazar Omar Meloi Selech Rachel. So this is the famous pasuk about Lashon Hara. You're not allowed to talk Lashon Hara. Loi Selech Rachel. You shouldn't be a, how do you say Rachel in English? A peddler. Yeah, peddler. No. Who? Rachel. You shouldn't be a peddler. Reb Nosson Oimer v'nishmarto mikol davar. So he takes the word davar and he says davar is not a thing. Davar is a dibur. You should be careful from all bad diburim. Okay. And Rashi points out that because it says v'nishmarto, anytime it says hishomer pen va'al is a loisase. There's an isur d'oraisa to talk, to make up a story, to be moitzi shemra, and because you did so, the pasuk continues and says you get malchus. V'yisrois, you get malchus. So the hazara, the warning is in this pasuk. That alone won't give you malchus. If you talk lashon hara, you don't get malchus. But that's the warning. Don't talk lashon hara. Don't be moitzi shemra. Then we have another parsha of moitzi shemra. Over there it says the word v'yisru, and because we already have hazara, you get malchus. V'Rebbe Elazar, who learns from Leiselech, my time Eloi Omar Mahai. How come he doesn't learn from an Ishmarta Mikol Dovar, Mikol Dibur? Ahume Baile, like the Pinchas ben Yair. This is interesting. If you look at the Psukim, Pasuk Yud says, Kiseitzi Machan Aleivecha, v'nishmarta Mikol Dovara. So that's the Pasuk we just brought in Pasuk Yud. What's the following Pasuk? Talking about Kerry. So he says they're connected. Saying, I'm pointing out the pasuk here. Don't think that just Stami threw it out there. No, because they're connected in the psukim. A person should be careful during the day. He shouldn't be maharer, so that he doesn't come to Tuma Balayla. The Rishonim are medayik, very interesting. Why can't he learn out Moitzi Shemra from Vinishmarta Mikol Davara? Because he uses it for this. It's already used up. He has no place to learn a Moitzi Shemra. In other words, the Rishonim are saying that this is a Deraisa. It's a Issa Deraisa to be Maharer, because it's not Stam and a Smachta. If it was a Smachta, okay, it's a nice limud, it's a nice drasha. No, it's so strong, this limud, that it doesn't let you learn anything else out from the pasuk. In other words, it's Deraisa. The learning that the hearer during the day is Deraisa. On that he says we learn out from Vinish Marto. My time Omar Mahai. How come he doesn't learn out from Elazar pasuk of Leitelech Rachel? What's wrong with Leitelech Rachel? Hazar lebezdin. No, Leitelech Rachel is a warning to Bezdin. Shloye rach lozeh v'kasha lozeh. If in case you want to see it in the chart, Leitelech Rachel, you split the word Rachel. Rach li. Don't be soft to one of the. What's the word? Litigants. Okay, litigants. Don't show favoritism to one of the litigants. Next sugya. Mamash a brand new sugya. So, Moitzi Shemra means that he comes to Bezin with Eidim. Lo yomar le'edim bayu ve'iduni. If you look over here in Pasuk Yud, it says, V'sam la alilos dvarim. He brought the alilos dvarim, meaning he himself brought the Eidim. What if he didn't bring the Eidim? He's not Mekayim the Pasuk, V'sam la. They showed up on their own. Lo yomar le'edim bayu ve'iduni. They come and they testify on themselves. That's be'etzem, a nair murasa. Now I'm thinking about it. So, unless maybe not, he started it. He's claiming it, but he didn't ask them to come, and they came by themselves. Okay, so it's not nair murasa. Same kasha that we had yesterday. How's it possible that the Eidim and her get killed? Either the Eidim are saying the truth and she gets killed and they go out free. That would be terrible if every time Eidim come to testify in Bezdin, no matter what they say, you kill them. Obviously, you only kill them when they're Zaymimim, when they're lying. And if they're lying, then she doesn't get killed. So how's it possible to kill all three of them? So, what if he told them to come and testify? It doesn't say in the Gemara he has to rent them, he has to pay them. He just has to talk to them, pick up the phone and say, hey, please come and testify. And that's enough to be Mechayevim, Malchus, and Meah. La'apukim the Rabbi Yehuda, but Rabbi Yehuda argues the sign Rabbi Yehuda Omer, and Echayevachi Yiskarei. It's not enough to call them up and beg them to come testify. You have to actually pay them, make a payment. Give them 25 cents, give them $1, then you become chayiv. My time at the Yehuda, Rebavo, ask you sima. One limud here, normal limud. It's again Rebavo, but this time he went easy on us. 2 words. Ksiv acha v'sam la alilois dvarim. It's the lashon of sima. Ksiv hasam leitzesimu olav neshech. Leitzesimun olav neshech by ribbis. You shouldn't put on it interest. You're not allowed to take interest. You're not allowed to take ribbis. The Torah talks about, when it comes to interest, what's the isser? To take interest on money and also on food, metaltalin, food. What is there no isser to take interest on? Property. Yosef, Tzidoini. From the yeshiva, okay, fine. He also learns the same drush. Boy, Rabbi Yirmiyah, was I lying? Easy stuff, right, Avi? You're holding cup. This good. Boy, Rabbi Yirmiyah, ask Rabbi Yirmiyah, Scharem bekarka mahu. If the Motty Shemra said to the Eidim, I'll give you a building in Manhattan if you come and testify against my wife, is that considered that he paid them? Why? Because the whole limud is from ribis, and ribis, it says money, and it's only money. So perhaps Motty Shemra is only money. Interesting, just to point out, Rabbi Yirmiyah, many times in Shas, I don't remember a lot. I just remember sometimes, like in Bava Metzia, the famous one. What's Chatzi Kav in 2 Amas Mahu? It says what? Rabbi Yirmiyah. So I'm saying he has a style that he asks these kind of interesting questions. What if it's not Mam like this? He takes the idea and he chops it up a little bit. Yeah, you remember Chatzi Kav? Okay. Says the Gemara, Scharon bekarkamau, bepachis mishav prutamau. If you're going to go to Ribbis, you're learning from Ribbis, to take interest, you have to have a shav pruta. So what if he gave them less than, he gave the Eidim by Motty Shemra less than a pruta? Shneim beprutamau. What if he gave a pruta, but it was a half a pruta to this side, half a pruta to the other? Okay, no answer to those questions. Boy Ravashi. Hoitzi Shemral and as soon as showing him out. Interesting. A guy marries a woman. The next day he divorces her. Then the day after that, he's mekayim the mitzvah of Machzir Grushasai, or the famous joke that he said, why are you marrying her again? Because for Zivik Sheni, she's good enough. Okay, so he's mekayim that. And then he decides that he's going to be Motty Shemra. I didn't find Psulim, you were Mezana, when? Last week by the Erusin of the first marriage. Today, he's married a second time. Is he in the parsha of Motty Shemra? He's doing everything he's supposed to do to be Motty Shemra. He's lying and everything, but it's about the first engagement, not the second one. Does he have the right, or could he be in the parsha when he says his sister-in-law felt to him li yibum? We're not going to go into yibum now. We all came out of Yavamis. By the way, how many people, Shalom Aleichem, what's your name?
Abe Krupp.
From Abe?
Cedarhurst.
Also Cedarhurst. You don't even know. Shalom Aleichem, Woodman, Cedarhurst. And yesterday somebody sat right over there also from Cedarhurst. Okay. Great. Shalom Aleichem, Tzadik. What's your name?
Cyril
Kleinman?
Kleinman.
From?
Lakewood.
Lakewood. Just yesterday we had a guy sitting right there from Lakewood. We had 2 Lakewooders. Okay, and we also, last night, we had guys from Bet Shemesh. You're not going to believe it. These guys showed up from Bet Shemesh. The whole place was full of guests. Yahaldi. The next time somebody remind me, if we have so many guests, Be'ezer Hashem, we should just bring them all here. We have to make like a picture. Okay. Instead of going around, it takes 10 minutes to. Ben Azmanim. Yeah, there's a few that showed up. Fine. So, Nachamol. A person died without children. His wife falls liibum to his brother. Now the brother, right, is miyabim or not. He says, "Hey, you were mizana when my brother got engaged to you. You were mizana during the engagement." Says Gemara, one of these two questions I can answer. Not the question if he got married to her twice, but the question about a brother. The Tani Rabbi Yoina is beating a father says, "I gave my daughter to you." Then the parish of Moshe Menora says, "I gave it to you." Obviously, it's to you and not to your brother. So you cannot have a taina on a brother's engagement. You mind your own business. That the Moshe Menora is your thing. Now, if it was a second marriage, first marriage, that we don't have an answer for. Next sugya. Yesterday we mentioned the machlokes Rabban Rebbe Eliezer in the pasuk of Voitel Shemra Vekrev Leah V'Leimitzasil Psulim. The Rebbe Eliezer Yaakov takes it literally. I looked for psulim, I couldn't find psulim. He brings the similar, he brings a sheet to Bezdin, mamish literal. Rabbanan say no, it's not literal. My Rabbanan or my Rebbe Eliezer Yaakov was the machlokes that we had yesterday. The Sanya. Case of the Hitzah Shemra. How does it work? Bala Bezdin v'Amar Ploini. He says to the father, Leimitzasi lebitcha psulim. I got married last night to your daughter. She was not a psula. If he could prove it with Eidim, which he has to, she gets a ksuba. What do you mean? You have to pay her. She's a zayna, she gets killed. If it comes out that he's right and there's Eidim, she gets killed, there's no ksuba. But if she's mizana before they got engaged, yesh ksuba mana. I don't know if you recall, we had no machlokes, and Rava says it's a mekachtos. If you thought that your wife was a psula and you find out that she was mizana before you got engaged, she doesn't get anything. Okay, so over here it says that you get a mana. Nimtza shemra inu shemra. The guy that made up the story, the husband, we find out that he's a liar. Inu shemra, he's lying. Who like it and so he gets punished two things. He gets malchus, and he has to pay 100. Again, I'm going to point this out. If a guy is ma'anas, a girl, he physically does something wrong, he has to pay 50. This guy, and where's your father? Yoey, he's not here today. But your father said, okay, because he was attempted murder, but he didn't do anything with his mouth. Lashon hara could be worse than a physical thing. Over here, he pays double fine, 2 years salary, not 1 year salary. Plus, he gets 39 malchus. It's unbelievable. Okay. Yeah, maybe the warning wasn't enough. Some people, if it works, try it out on your children. See, let me know if it tackles. Yes, it's fine. Now it says like this: Bein baal ubein loy baal. Say chacham tanakama. It doesn't matter whether he went through with the marriage, if there was a bia or not. It doesn't matter. He gets malchus. No, the Torah says that there was a bia here. There's a bia. Why? I don't know why. That's what the Torah says. Now the Gemara says, where does it say in the Torah, and what do we do with these words? It says, you see, what does it mean? There was bia. Also a lotion of bia. They have to explain it. They say it's not literal. So what does it mean? He comes to her with accusations. He got close to her. Doesn't mean bia. He got close. He started schmoozing with her. All of a sudden he realized in the conversation, wait a minute, there's something here. Something sounds fishy. She's starting to admit to him that she's mizana. And then he looks into it deeper and he finds Zaydim in the whole thing. So ve'ekrav doesn't mean literally. It means that there was a schmooze. He's being literal. I didn't find psulim. If it's not literal, so what do you mean? I didn't find psulim. He wasn't even with her. How can he know if it's psulim or not? In other words, I don't have edim to be mazim or be makrish. Two things could happen here. There's edim that come along and say that she was mizana. I don't have edim to say the opposite. You don't have edim. B'kitzur, we're talking about finding edim, but not physical rayas. He brings, we learned in Yivamas, in those days people were very concerned, maybe she's lying, that she's not a psula, that she's a psula. So she brings her own sheet that has dam on it to pretend that she's a psula. He brings a sheet that doesn't have dam on it. So they used to bring edim. They had edim over there to check out the sheets. It's a big thing. 200 zuz, 100 zuz. Okay, whatever the pshat is. But according to Rabbi Elazar Yaakov, it says ve'ela psulei biti. What does it mean eila psula? How do you show psula? You bring a sheet. You bring a physical evidence. El rabbanamai ve'ela psulei biti. What does it mean? Ve'ela ksheri psulei biti. These are the edim that are going to make my daughter kosher. I'm proving that she was never mizana. How can I prove that she was not mizana? Because these two edim are going to say that those two edim that you brought are liars. They were in a different country at that day. Again, you brought the simla, the dress, the sheet. What does it mean? How can you explain it? Here again, the word simla is broken up to some la. The what? The father brings his two edim. And the husband's two edim, and they work it out. By the time they're done, it's like a brand new garment. Okay, they bring us in. Taisus asked a bomb kash here. It could be ma'ayin and Taisus and different rishonim. What good does it do if there's a simla? If I have edim that choose mizana, you could jump on your head and bring as many sheets as you want. She was mizana. I have two edim that she's mizana. If I have two edim, she wasn't mizana. So you could also bring your sheet with blood. It doesn't matter. What's the difference? What does the simla do? Okay. Says in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Here's the pasuk. It's plural. The Torah says that doesn't matter if it's bia kedarka, shalai kedarka, natural, unnatural. A bia is a bia. In other words, and this is very important. I once heard a guy told me, Mefurish, he says, bia shalai kedarka with a nida is not a problem. Wrong. Bia shalai kedarka is an issa deraisa. It's a karas with a nida with any arais in the world. It's mamish like regular bia. However, when it comes to moitzi shemra, he says it's an afkamina. For now, that what? It doesn't necessarily mean shaloi kedarka. It means even if the husband got married and he was with his wife, his relations were shaloi kedarka, it's also enough to say that she was mizana kedarka. The znos has to be kedarka. But what it's saying here is, it could be even shaloi kedarka when the husband was with her. The Torah says that he was with her. No, it could even be shaloi kedarka. But the znos, again, the whole Torah, a person, if he's with his sister, shaloi kedarka, it's the same exact thing, shaloi kedarka and kedarka. There's no difference at all. When it comes to Moitzi Shemra, he must say that it was kedarka. Shaloi kedarka doesn't work. He has to accuse her of a kedarka, not a shaloi kedarka. He could be with her, shaloi kedarka. He himself, the husband who's lying, could be, or not lying, he could be shaloi kedarka. But his taina is only one taina, different than the whole Torah. His taina can only be that she's mizana kedarka. Why? Because that's what the Torah says. Says the Gemara doesn't make any sense what you're saying. Come on, Rabbanon, avgav loiba. Rabbanon say it's not literal. There's no bia at all. Not shaloi kedarka, not kedarka, zero. Even if he's never with her at all, there's just a chuppah. So there's nesuin through chuppah, but there's no physical relation. That's also enough to accuse her. Ikir Elazar ben Yaakov. Either be the Kedarka Binon. Rebbe Elazar ben Yaakov is literal. And I don't know what the halacha is. I'm just assuming that the halacha is like Rebbe Elazar ben Yaakov because it's always like him. Kavanaki. I don't know. But it's against the rabbin. Fine. Either be Kedarka Binon. And he says, it says in the pasuk, "Lemitzasi libitcha psulim." It has to be kedarka. So what are you telling me? It's shaloi kedarka, even shaloi kedarka. It's not shaloi kedarka. It's unfortunate in the pasuk, "Loi mitzasi bitcha psulim." In a makom of psulim, it has to be, not in the makom not psulim. We just turned to Amud Beis, sponsored by Moshe Horn, in honor of Zach, the Racklin, and letting learners CPA and the zchus being able to support limud Torah and to finish learning Shas with the rebelli. Shkoyach. Hello. Sholach Rav Kana Mishmei Rabbi Yochanan in a Chayiv. Okay, wrong. We said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. No, misquoted Rabbi Yochanan. It's different. Rabbi Yochanan said it this way: in a Chayiv ad sheyivol kedarka, v'yotzi shemer kedarka. Everything has to be kedarka, and memela it is different than the rest of the Torah. The rest of the Torah, there's no difference between kedarka and shaloi kedarka. There's one exception to the rule. By motzi shemra, it has to be kedarka. On both sides. The husband has to be kedarka, because it says lo motzasi b'tcha psulim, and he has to accuse her of kedarka. Says the Eli Mishnah, the official Mishnah sponsored by Moshe Cohen, hatzlacha with limud Torah and parnasa. Rabbi say you're probably very familiar with this Mishnah, with the whole Amud, because this is a famous sugya in Kiddushin, and many of us learn Kiddushin in yeshiva, especially the sugya. Ha'av zakai bebitoi bekidushel. We're talking about a ketana. Ooh. Here's a ketana. You have the three stages of a girl's life. Ketana until she's 12. From 12 with simanim to 12 and a half is a nara, and after that is a begeres. So when she's a ketana and the father marries her off, bikidushel bekesef, bishtar ubebia. These are the three ways you marry off a person gets married. So what's interesting is, if you pay attention here, bekesef, three things happen here. First of all, the father gains a monetary gain. Okay, he made money, whatever. Talking about the safari in Africa. When we left our lodge, the guy says, listen, be careful of the cows. Huh? Yeah, there's cows everywhere. He wasn't lying. You drive down the highway there, all of a sudden a cow starts walking across the street. What's going on? Huh?
He wasn't lying, you missed such an opportunity.
He wasn't lying. Okay, safari, okay. The island thinks that you're from England. Fine. He wasn't lying. Where's that lying picture? Anyway, what's going on over there in Africa is as follows. Not that they're so into cows, but it's a dowry. Every guy that gets married there has to give the father of the bride a cow, 2 cows, 20 cows. It's all depending on the chashivas of this woman. How many golden teeth, whatever the matzav is. So that's why there's a lot of cows everywhere. It's that they don't even eat it. It's to give to the shver. Okay. So the father, when it comes to kesef, he gets the cows, he gets the monetary value. He also receives the kiddushin, and he decides who he's marrying her off to. There's 3 things going on here. When it comes to shtar, you only have 2 things. He doesn't get any monetary value, but he receives the shtar in his hand. He gets it. He gets it in his hand, and he decides, okay, she can marry him. So it's 2 things. When it comes to bia, it's only the 3rd thing. So it's 1, 2, and 3. Again, kesef. He makes a monetary gain. He receives it in his hand, and he decides to who? Bia, he only decides to who? Only. Kesef ishtar bia, no cows. Zakai b'mitzi also, a father, as the Gemara is going to say, top of Mem Zayin Amud Aleph, first words, he gets any finding. She finds something, he gets to keep it because of Eva and Amasity. Ubimasi Yudel, if she has a salary, he gets her salary. Uba'afaris Nederel, if she makes a neder, she says that she's going to do 100 somersaults, he has the ability to annul it. Umekabel is Gita. So this is very interesting. We have to pay attention over here. If she got married, she's out of his rishus, he has nothing to do with her. So how could he take her get? How could he receive a get for her? Okay, because it's talking about from Erusin. and she's still what? You still have to say it. She's a Ktana. Before Begeres. Okay? It could be a Naira also. Bafaras Nadarel. Mukabel Gita, again. If he divorced her from Erison, we're talking about in those days when you get engaged, you got engaged. It was a real engagement. It was with a ring, with the whole thing. It's a half of marriage. So you have to divorce with a real get. He can receive the get. How in the world does she have fields? Because she inherited it from her mother's side. So the father doesn't have the ability to eat any of the fruit. Although, once she dies, he gets it from her. He gets the whole Yerusha from her. Nises, but once she gets married, Yosef Lavabal, the husband has one up or two up on the father. Shoichel Peres B'chayel, he does get to eat the fruit that we had already. Remember with the sugyas of nursing homes, she comes in with nichse milug, he gets to benefit from the nichse milug. The chaybim is in a cell. And he has to feed her, and he has to redeem her, big chiddush here. You need a mission to tell me that if your wife gets captured by the bad guys, I would think you just go to sleep and just get married again to somebody else. No, it's part of the Kesubos, it's not a joke. It's part of the deal. You know why you get, by the way, yeah? That's why you get the Maaseh Yadayim. It's a deal. I get your Maaseh Yadayim because if you get captured, which is very frequent in those days, I have to redeem you. Big money. I can't just take my wife, not my wife. He just can't take his wife and throw her body on the sidewalk somewhere. He's mechuyev to bury her. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, afilu ani Yisrael. By the way, big news. I don't want to forget to tell you, Rabbi Kornbluth, today is Mando's last day in Eretz Yisrael. Yeah, he's leaving. The famous dog, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Shepatrani. I brought my son from Los Angeles to Eretz Yisrael, and it's his dog, and he, Be'ezer Hashem, now I can be a Magachir without a dog, nobody's going to have tainas, the Hasidim, all those guys that don't watch the share because the guy has a dog, Meshugana, now he's gone. Okay, Baruch Hashem. Thank you. Let's wait until it happens. I'll let you know tomorrow. I just remember because I saw my wife crying. Like, what's going on? Like, he understands. Mr. Carmel is almost crying. He used to take care of him. So, Bamas, bring your family over today. Last time. That interesting minhagim those days in by Levaya. Where is it? Here. This I found a picture that these people at funerals they use the flutes. It's an emotional instrument. Whatever. So to take that out, like a cheer. I feel like Israel. I'm saying a flute. No, what? No. It's music in the elevator. My elevator, my building. What are you talking about? Titanic? No, it's sugar. Who knows? I feel like Israel. You have to bring two people with flutes at the funeral. No matter what, even if you're very poor, you have to hire the fluters. And a fake person to go, no, she's such a great woman. They have no idea what this woman is. They cry and they make everybody else cry. Givaldig. So it says the Gemara, this is Kiddushin. Bekesef min Allah, and how do I know that the Kiddushin goes to the father? Interesting thing, yeah? The girl gets a ring. The father says, give it to me. He takes the ring. Shalom Yisrael, she gets nothing. How do I know? Omer Rav Yehuda Omer Kro. I really hope my daughter-in-law doesn't. I just had a whole conversation with her about chinuch and then this and the new society. This doesn't fit into anything the Amerikanische Olam understands. If you look at the pasuk here, it says, you're talking about a father, again, things that we don't understand. A father sells off his daughter as a Amar Ivriya. So I explained it a few days ago. I'll explain it again if you haven't heard. In those days, people were extremely poor. We had a whole sugi about between Tuesday and Wednesday, who's chayev to be mefarnes the wife. If Bezdin was on this day, it was such a thing. People were dying like flies without food. Person couldn't afford it. At the end of the day, you have people can't afford their children. They give them up for adoption. It's sort of like an adoption. You give up your kid, to a better place, somebody has money, you be the Amma, okay. But it lasts until Nairos. Once she has Simanim, she goes free. He has the ability to marry her off to, if he doesn't do any of the things that the Torah says, v'yatza chinam ein kasef. The question is, why does it have to say ein kasef? Chinam means for free. V'yatza chinam, she goes out, finished. So the extra words ein kasef are completely extra. Just like I just said, the extra words are completely extra. Yeah, so the extra. V'yatza chinam ein kasef. Ein kasef laden zeh. So this guy, the master of this Amma, doesn't get any money. But v'yesh kesef laden acher, the father, who's another master. In our society, the children are the masters. We listen to them. They tell us. They dictate. There's no concept of kavod for the elders. It's a whole different generation. We're not talking about that. We're talking about it back then. Master, umanu avio. As the Gemara v'emelidida. Okay, you raya that there's money. It says in kesef. He doesn't have money. The master doesn't have money. But there is money in another situation. But how do you know who gets the money? Maybe she gets the money. If the father, from our sugya of Motty Perl, it says in the pasuk, he comes to Bezin, he says, I gave my wife to this jerk who's lying about my daughter, my daughter to this jerk. So he has the ability to give his daughter to whoever he wants. She's going to take the money? No way. Maybe the pasuk is talking about a Chana. Aval Naira this liad, but a Naira who could do things. She has kinyanim. Maybe she could be mekadosh herself. She doesn't need her father's permission, and she should take the money. As you see in this pasuk, it's talking about nidarim. Pasuk K says v'shama avias nidra, talking about nidarim, and then all the way at the end of the parasha says ben av lebitoy binurei beis avia. And a father and his daughter, binurei beis avia. Kol shvach neurim lo avia. Any gain that she has goes to her father. Says the Gemara, if that's true, if I could learn from any gain that kiddushin goes to the father, then why do I need a pasuk by other things? How do I know that the salary goes to the father? So what should the answer be? Binurei beis avia. Kol shvach neurim. Any gain, monetary gain, goes to the father. No, that's not how he learns it. Shenemar. We learn it from Amma. Just like the master gets all her salary. But why do I need a special limud from Amma? From Nidarim. So what's the obvious answer? Look, it's talking about Nidarim. So it's talking about Nidarim. I can't learn out salary. And guess what else I can't learn out of it? Kiddushin. So I'm back to square one. How do I know that the father gets Kiddushin? Learn Kiddushin from this pasuk of Nidarim. The two different kinds of things. One is the Isser of a nether and one is money. You should learn from the Einis and Mefata. Who gets the 50 shekel? Torah says first the father gets it. So to Kiddushin, the father should get the Kiddushin. And again, it's two different types of money. One is a knas, a fine, it's a big chiddush, and one is money. But in addition, we had a whole sugya that the father also gets the humiliation, not humility. Yeah? That's what I'm saying. No, you couldn't scream at the camera, not humility, humiliation. Okay, whatever. Humiliation and depreciation. I ain't shown what that means. We go to the market and see how much she's worth, etc. So you see that the father does get something that's not a knas. He gets real money, real damages. As we had a few times, the father has the ability to make money off of her by giving her as a wife to the terrible mukashchin guy. Which we have to understand, the big problem here. We're trying to learn Kiddushin, and we're saying we're learning it from Kiddushin of mukashchin. It's something's off here a little bit. Fine, we have to understand that. We asked, bottom line, maybe the kesef, it says in the pasuk that ein kesef, yatzechinam ein kesef. So it means for Kiddushin, but maybe it means it goes to her. Says the Gemara, okay. If there was a gerah in kesef, Rashi explains, it has to be similar to a amma. She's working as a slave, as a amma, and it should be that if, let's say, you paid $1 million for her, and now she has simanim, we should figure out. And what's the word when you... she came out a few days early, you have to make it up. What's it called? Terrible word. No, Avi. Prorate. You have to prorate. Thank you. You have to prorate it. But there's no proration. She goes out free. But when it comes to the father, so now it's going to be similar to the Adin. The Adin, one master, you don't prorate. The other master, the father, gets the money. He doesn't get it, he does. So they're similar. Memela, don't say that she gets the money because it doesn't fit in. It's not symmetrical. Says the Gemara, but at the end of the day, but the two different leaving. When when she leaves the master, she leaves him completely, never has anything to do with him. But at the end of the day, she's still somewhat under his bailos, under his authority when it comes to Yerusha, Maisi Yadayim. Says Gemara, but there's one thing that she kind of leaves almost completely, and that's neder. It's not Nair Marasa, Avilu Bala, Mefirim, La, Nidoreha. You see that he loses the control because now he has to share control with the husband. So there is something that she leaves, and maybe it's similar to the Adain. Rabbi Isai, welcome to all the guests. Have a wonderful day. Shkoyach. Come again.